chain transparency and traceability issue using blockchain technology, and its future research interest include circular economy and food waste management. Earlier, Sir had previous position of business analysis as well as business operation analyst in India and foreign. So from the Nahem team, I welcome Sir and handle Sir this platform to lead. Thank you, Sir.
Thank you very
Aniket.
much, Chetan. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Aniket Gawai. I'm currently an academic mentor and a doctoral researcher at University of Reading in UK. Chetan, can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, Sir, I can hear you
Okay,
clearly.
yeah. All right. Please stop me if I'm not audible or something like that. Yeah. Okay. So thanks a lot, firstly, for the organizing committee for inviting me for this talk, and especially on this very innovative topic in agri and food. It's really uh, it's a proud moment for all agriculture people to say that uh, it's a great transformation happening in agriculture now with all that technology coming in. So blockchain is one of them, along with AI and machine learning, robotics, precision agriculture involves everything of that. IoTs are involved. So it's really great that you have organized this topic for sharing this value with everyone in India as well. Thanks a lot again. Well, talking about blockchain. So yes, it is often discussed only with traceability and transparency, which are the major benefits of blockchain, especially in any food supply chain or any supply chain. So we will focus on firstly, this will be the agenda for my today's this seminar or lecture or whatever it is. Uh, I will introduce what is blockchain first, and we can go through the current challenges in agri-food supply chain, and we'll find what are the traceability solutions offered by blockchain, followed by transparency solutions. Then we can have a look on overview on blockchain benefits in general, and then also blockchain challenges, because being a very new technology itself, it got its own challenges, being at very naive stage or nascent stage of development. So and we'll be ending up with Q&A. So yes, please feel free, everyone. Let's keep this session very interactive. Just comment your questions, and we can have that all together at the end. And feel free to ask anything you would like to around this topic. With that said, let's start with what is blockchain. Well, here's a beautiful quote by Blythe Masters, who was ex-head of global commodities of JP Morgan Chase. It's a really huge consulting firm. He said, "You should be taking this technology as seriously as you should have been taking development of the internet in early 90s." So he's comparing this blockchain technology with internet in early 90s, and here we are today after 25 30 years experiencing the boom of internet and internet based companies and this industry overall. uh, yes, so this potential blockchain possess, but it's still at very early stage, as said. Well, introducing blockchain, it is also known as distributed ledger technologies, or you might find it in different literature or gray literature like articles or any codes that it is also mentioned somewhere as DLT. So it is similar to, which is basically the same idea. So blockchain technology, it is decentralized firstly. It is distributed database, so which is used for storing all the data or information related to transactions happening. Talking about, for example, if I relate this with any supply chain or any financial transaction, so all the data happening or the transaction happenings are stored in blockchain in decentralized form as against the current system or the traditional system of centralized system, which is you might be aware of clouds and central databases of different companies here. So this is this main difference of blockchain than other technologies or other traditional things is it is decentralized, it is distributed among everyone, as also the current system is not distributed, it is centralized again. So that's the reason. Secondly, its decentralized nature avoids the single point access failure, which currently is one of the major issues faced by many IT companies or today's world. So single point access failure is the reason the data is stored on a single point or single cloud database. It's more prone to hackers and more prone to cyber security issues. So this is the reason which takes blockchain a step ahead than the current centralized systems for in terms of single point access of failures. So it is immutable in nature. What is meant by immutable? Immutable is once any data is on the blockchain, it cannot be edited, it cannot be manipulated. So there's a very less chance of any fraudulent activity or uh, any manipulations uh, enable for any node in the supply chain. As I'm from food supply chain background, I'll be referring more to the food supply chain only. Please make sure. Um, yeah. So talking about immutability, yes, it is the nature which cannot be edited. So that's the main characteristic of blockchain. It is another after its decentralized and distributed nature, which offers transparency on the shared information. So as once any data is on the database, just like Excel, if I relate this or try to explain, if we are working on any Excel sheet, so we can edit the data, right? Easily we can edit the data, and which is not possible or any other databases. So it's easy for anyone who has access or who has right to edit the data, so they can change the information accordingly for their profits or profit of the company or any good reason for their benefits. So this is not possible with blockchain. That's the reason transparency factor come in, where it becomes more transparent. This also helps in avoiding duplication of data because it's automatically excluded, and duplication and data manipulation, as it is in traditional operations, it's not possible. Uh, BT also, it is equally like, as I said, in supply chain, it's still very vague, or it's not transparent yet. All the whole supply chain, maybe any supply chain, any manufacturing supply chain or food supply chain or anything, all the supply chains uh, are not transparent yet. All the internal nodes, all the partners in the supply chain don't have access to everything. They don't know what, even in terms of customer or end consumer, they have no access to data, what has happened with their product, or what's the history of their data, very minute details of that. So blockchain here helps with uh, giving that transparency to all nodes or all the key supply chain partners to know what's the status of the transaction, what's happening in actual system or all the operations. So that's with the introduction in short. So what is a block? If we distribute this or we split this term blockchain in two different parts, so let's see what is block first. So a block is any transaction happening. For example, if I'm paying, if I'm paying at a retail store, sorry, if I'm buying an apple and I paid something, so that transaction of that payment is added as a block on this system. So what this block consists of? So this block is consist of its a hash. Hash is basically a cryptographically encrypted information. uh, Cryptographically encrypted here is it's mixed of numbers and letters, which cannot be retrieved or cannot be manipulated at all. And also, going further, every block in the blockchain is attached with each other with unique identity. That is the hash. So for example, you can see here on the screen, you can see hash of word FAO. And so this is a type of hash I'm talking about. Even if, for example, if I try to edit this now, even I try to replace A from FAO, if I replace it with S maybe, if I do it FSO, the whole hash value gets changed, even with a single letter changed. So that's the beauty of this mechanism, and that's the reason makes it more tough for any cyber attacks. Well, so this type of blocks, when joined together, they bring together, uh, they make a blockchain. As for example, to relate with, I would not go further because explain understanding blockchain basically is really important, like the main concept. So I'll try to explain this with an example. For example, you might have, you are aware of a train, right? So a train has different bogies, right? So each bogie, it is detachable in train. But if you consider a blockchain as a train, so in this train, each bogie is attached with an unique code with itself, which cannot be detached. For example, if we try to take off one bogie and try to connect another bogies, that blockchain won't work. It will give you a system error, or it will give you an error which needs to change the whole train, like here blockchain. So this is this brings that transparency factor again here, or immutability, as I was saying. So nothing is editable or nothing can be manipulated in blockchain. uh, so this is blockchain. I hope it's a bit clear. Right, please be interactive. Chetan, you can ask any questions in, if anyone has in comment area. Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
You're right, thank you. Well, bringing to analogy of a blockchain, so it is.
So, can I please interrupt you? I think Nitin sir has raised hand. He must be having some.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, what about that previous hash value in the initial block? How it is previous block's hash value?
Yes. So as you can see here in blockchain, the second image. So you have blockchain. So one is the principal block, which has no earlier value. But as I said, as I gave example of train, which is uh, all the two bogies are attached with a unique hash with each other, for example. So that is the previous hash. So as you can see here, its own hash. If you can see, I don't have any pointer to show you here. If you can focus on block one, can you see own hash here, A1, B2? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So this own hash,
Yeah.
yeah. So this hash of the first block is the previous hash for the second block, which is uniquely attached with each other. So you can see a previous hash here, A1, B2 in block two, and the data is XYZ, which is different data than the previous one. Now, the own hash, so that is previous hash for the block 2, and own hash for block 2 is C4D2, which is the previous hash for block 3. Is it clear? Hello?
Clear. Yeah.
Cannot hear you. Sorry.
No, Nitin,
Let's go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, can we please make sure, like, we can take all the questions at end of the session? Will that be okay? And we can uninterruptedly finish it within the time, because I have a lot to say. Is it fine?
yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Yeah. Thank you. So yes, um, just a second. Okay. Well, as an analogy, so I read this somewhere anonymously. It is easy to steal a cookie from a cookie jar kept in a secluded place than stealing the cookie from a cookie jar kept in the marketplace, being observed by thousands of people, right? So this is very relevant with blockchain, because current companies, uh, they have been doing many unregulated uh, unsustainable practices. For example, in local market supply, food market or agri-food supply chains. So there is a lot of uh, unsustainable practices. There are the marketers or the agents. They have the monopoly over the market, right? For buying the products from farmers and selling it to the retailers or next chain in the supply chain, maybe distributor or directly retailer. So they control this. So this is how they steal a cookie from a secluded place which no one is watching them. But blockchain is something that provides a marketplace which brings that transparency, that everyone is watching, and everyone can fear for doing such unsustainable practices using this. So, well, yeah. Moving further to blockchain characteristics, smart contracts. Firstly, this is very uh, celebrated. You can say celebrated. This term, I don't know it's right, but smart contract is the major feature or characteristic of blockchain, which is smart contracts are basically a uh, pre-coded contracts which uh, gets uh, uh, automatically done, or they are, for example, um, if then cases, you might have heard about, if this happens then that should be done, right? So in smart contracts it is pre-coded that if the transaction A uh, is done, only then uh, further process with transaction B to the next node in the supply chain. For example, if farmer A is paying to retailer B, sorry, retailer is paying to farmer, so there is a pre-coded contract in between them. So no late fees or no late transaction of financial activities uh, is is needed here with these smart contracts. They already are pre-coded. If this happens, only then the transaction is processed. Otherwise, the system stops there, right? So this is very good for getting instantly paid in terms of financial transactions. And many big companies like IBM or even Dan1 in food industry, they are working on blockchain pilots now. So they are also focusing on smart contracts, especially because of the speed they want to bring in whole transaction. So this is really important characteristic of blockchain. Secondly, disintermediation, which is, for example, a supply chain in agri-food supply chain. Again, I would focus. I'm focusing on this because before starting my research, I did a pilot study on myself in one small area in Maharashtra itself. Uh, so I observed a lot of unsustainable practices due to the intermediaries from farm to fork, if we say. So from a food product going from farm to fork, there are so many activities happening in between, which we as end consumers, we have no idea. But all the pressure or all the what do you say, uh, all the stress of whole this system is put majorly on the producer, which is farmer. So uh, blockchain here is trying to solve this problem by disintermediating the supply chain, by reducing the number of intermediaries, uh, which is currently the biggest issue, I think, in whole this ecosystem. So blockchain has this feature or characteristic to offer. And next is the immutability. As said, immutability, as once any data or information is on the blockchain or this database, it cannot be edited or it cannot be manipulated by anyone, which makes it more transparent and trustworthy. Especially the trust factor comes in between here. So the whole supply chain become more trustworthy. From farm to fork, all the activities are transparent and more trustworthy with help of this technology. As said, with smart contracts, near real-time settlements. So once any process or any transaction or any activity happened between two different businesses, it takes the process to happen. It takes some time. It takes 1 or 2 days minimum to happen, or at least 2 to 3 days for any business transactions. But with blockchain, this settlement is nearly at the same time. It's near real-time settlements, means it's nearly exactly at the same time the transaction is made. uh, the the money is transferred back or the payment is done immediately, and all the process gets more efficient, right? Single source of truth. As said, it is a transparent system, and all the players involved, all the participants in the blockchain are able to view what's happening in whole system. So it is a single source of truth. And also, uh, this database or this blockchain enables a copy of all the transactions available to everyone in the blockchain, or everyone in the supply chain. For example, now if the transaction happens between A and B in current system, so only A and B knows what's happening. But it is vague. It is not known to other supply chains. For example, again, farmer, if farmer is selling uh, 20 rupees per kg carrot at a mandi, then after he sells that to the agent or the in the market, he has no idea what rate he's getting when the product is getting further. And in reality, the price we as an end consumer paying for the same product, for example tomatoes, if farmer is selling tomatoes for 20 rupees per carrot, uh, there, and as an end consumer we are buying it as 80 rupees per kg. So this is what the was difference, or um, uh, the unsustainable scope for the intermediaries comes there. So as being the single source of truth, so everyone knows what's happening inside and everyone has the same copy. Even if a single transaction occurs in the blockchain, everyone gets notification, everyone gets known about that. So that's the another beauty of blockchain, I would say. And automated trust, again, this brings again uh, an automated trust is built, or in is gets involved in all the supply chain partners. Or also, as a consumer, we also get more trustworthy for a particular brand due to this. Well, getting further to types of blockchain with this. So, as you might be wondering that, okay, everyone knows everything. So how can businesses work together? So many businesses are there who don't want to share what's happening or what are their strategies, right? So they have also types of blockchain here. So there are three major types, which is public, permission, and private. So what happens in terms of actions in all the supply chain, or especially in this value chain, is in this blockchain. So formation of a new block in public, everyone can see it. Permission is only permitted stakeholders or permitted people, or the no, or the supply chain partners are given permission to access or see the transactions. But in private, only owner, or the only owner of the blockchain or the main company is able to do that. So voting on transaction acceptance. Yes, I forgot to mention this. Voting is a part, like blockchain works like uh, consensus mechanism, which is majority of people in blockchain have to approve that transaction. For example, a payment is been done from A to B, but it is not directly going from A to B. It's not directly happening at that moment. More than 50% of the people or the stakeholders in the blockchain, they have to approve that transaction is true, and they have nothing, they have no issues with the transaction, and no fraudulent activities or anything was involved. So that is kind of a uh, uh, you can say approval or authentication from other partners, right? So this is another good thing that uh, I think many of PhDs are also seeing me today, so they might be aware about academic review practices, like when you're writing a paper, so your paper is reviewed by few reviewers, right? So this is similarly, this transaction is reviewed for each transaction, each single transaction is reviewed by other partners in the supply chain, and 50%, more than 50% have to approve that before the transaction goes successfully. So this is again bringing more trust and authenticity in the system, right? And also administrating chain code. So this is more technical term, but in public you can see everything is available, or every information is available for public blockchains, for every partners in the public blockchain. So basic idea is permission is only for permitted people, and public is open to everyone, and private is only privately owned by that typical or particular company, right? um, Very good example of public blockchain is Bitcoin. I think you majority of you might have heard about Bitcoin. That is the public blockchain. So blockchain, yes, blockchain is the base for Bitcoin. Bitcoin is the product built on the blockchain system, blockchain technology. So you might have updates on that, right? Well, getting back on our agri-food supply chain. So what are the current challenges in agri-food supply chains? As previously mentioned, this all this ecosystem is complex, it's non-transparent, it's vague. Uh, not everyone knows what's happening actually, as from the example of the farmer's tomato. So that shows how complex this system is, and how good chances or good opportunities for fraudulent or unsustainable practices are still there, especially a big country like India, where there is all micro level transaction or operations happening. So it's really important to get technology in this all as soon as possible, to avoid all the issues happening with the farmers. So that's what blockchain can promise here. As said, data tampered food chains. Yes, so current systems, as said, they are centrally, all the data collections are centrally stored. Also, the data capturing process is quite manual nowadays. So all the data capturing people, even they have good relations with the data providers. Like for example, if someone is getting data for the transactions from retailer, so they have a uh, good chance of manipulating them accordingly for the monetary purpose or monetary benefits. So this is the major challenge, first major challenge of today's supply chain, agri-food supply chain. Second is non-reliability of information. Of course, if the data is tampered, so we don't guarantee it, we don't have trust on the reliability of data, whatever we are getting. And although businesses have no options, also as a consumer, we don't have any options to consider. For example, if any product is called as organic, and it is sold as organic fruit, so we don't have any chance to authenticate it or check it if they are lying to us, or they are really telling they really mean it, that it's organic. So this is non-reliability of information of all the data, and this brings to non-transparency in whole system. So this system is not really transparent, and that's the second biggest challenge in this agri-food supply chain. Well, this gives a chance, as said, to food frauds. Food frauds are any activity done by any particular business or person for monetary benefits, we can call it as food fraud. Maybe it's really a generic definition I have given, but this is in general food frauds can be defined. So food frauds means you might be aware of many food frauds happening around. Um, for example, adulteration of milk, adulteration of oil, and many as such in fish supply chain. There are so many food frauds happening, and counterfeits. So counterfeits is another good term, that main original product is replaced by a duplicate product. So for example, in fish supply chain, many fish species, for example, it is tuna. So tuna is the head is cut and the fillets are mixed with another species, which is low quality fish with tuna and sold as tuna. So this is counterfeiting, and this brings to major. This is due to this non-transparent system, right? So this brings to next one is recalls. So food recalls in Europe and US, there are a number of incidences, sorry, that they have to call back the food. For example, uh, in US in 2012, I guess there was they found E. coli in one of the spinach product. So they had to call back all the products, which caused a big monetary problem to whole supply chain from the farmer to all the retailers. So that was big issue happening. And when when we come to recalls, food recalls, the system currently takes at least 7 to 8 days to find the exact source of the problem, source of the issue in foods. So uh, as blockchain comes in here. According to pilot by IBM recently, they they imported pork from China, and also mangoes were sent to China. So they did a pilot study on this blockchain, and they noticed that it takes only 2 to 3 seconds to know about the source of the product. So this is the great efficiency brought here by blockchain again. Well, zero food safety, yes. So as said, adulteration happening is happening around. So food is not safe at all, and especially in these vague supply chains and tampered food supply chains, anything is sold as some other products, even though there are certification agencies or certifying bodies, but even they are tackled well by many smart people or smart business people here. So that's still, it remains a big issue with this chain. Yes. So yes, again, if it's no transparent, so there is no visibility of the operations happening, as said, and the lengthy food recalls. Consumer demand, nowadays consumers are getting more interested in knowing their ingredients or the source of the material, as they are getting more and more conscious about their food they're having every day. They are more conscious of the protein intake, carbs intake, fat intake. So they are also demanding for the sources of the content. And this is the need of the market today. If any business people in food are listening to this, so this is a really good thing to work on. For contents and certifications as well, they are very keen, all the content. Me as an end consumer, I'm quite curious to know about my sources of food. So yes, that is another good, I mean, a big challenge today's agri-food supply chains are facing. So, well, yes. So how can blockchain be solution to these problems, all the supply chain? As said, it offers end-to-end traceability. So traceability, what is traceability? Traceability is knowing the history of end-to-end um, uh, end-to-end history of the product. For example, if I'm buying a mango from Alfonso mango from Ratnagiri, and I'm buying it in London. So, uh, with help of traceability, it will be it will enable me to know the sources And this is end-to-end traceability. As end consumer, I'll be knowing everything which is need to be known as a consumer of the food or end customer. This also increases inventory accuracy. Blockchain helps to, as said, as similar to food recall time, all the transaction times with help of smart contracts, as explained earlier, they bring this inventory accuracy as well. So current supply chains struggles with uh, inventory management. So uh, there are a lot of incidences that mismanagement of inventory happens, and especially in perishable products like food. So it's really important for efficient inventory management. So blockchain is again promising that function or feature here. Third is the transparency of the system due to immutability, as explained earlier, decentralized of the traditional process, as data is decentrally stored. So it's uh, highly impossible to manipulate it, or of any cyber attack or anything relevant activities, fraudulent activities, I would say. This brings more visibility. Again, blockchain brings more visibility to overall supply chain or a whole ecosystem, which gives more trust to everyone, every stakeholder. Uh, Transparent information flow. Yes, of course, the information from farm to fork and fork to farm as well, like the product information from farm to fork, and financial information from fork to farm. This also is very transparent. I mean, that's really good. Uh, Again, good uh, blockchain solution for these issues. They have again improved recall efficiencies as explained. So next is information management handling. Again, the transparent information flow gives more access and more flexibility for the supply chain managers or any management professionals to handle well with the data, all the information, which gives more flexibility, and uh, they make more, they gives more ability to the higher officials in decision making or taking their business decisions well. So this is what information management handling brings. And also quick retrieval of all required data within few clicks. As said, in terms of food recalls, it normally takes traditionally 7 to 8 days to know where the problem has occurred. But with help of blockchain, the data can be quickly retrieved within few clicks, within seconds. Everyone can hear me clearly? Hello?
Yes, sir. Your voice
All
is
right.
coming, sir.
Okay. Please interrupt me if I'm not audible or something technical issue. Yeah.
For sure, sir.
Sure.
Okay.
May I know the time I have?
Sir, it's from 3 to 5, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
sir.
right. Yeah.
Okay.
Also, please touch me if I'm getting late or something. Yeah.
Yeah, sir.
All
No
right.
problem in that, sir.
Okay. Let's move further to just a second. Yeah. This is simplified agri-food supply chain with blockchain. Firstly, just have a look on first layer, which is physical flow of the food, and it involves provider, which is fertilizer companies, and next is producer, which is farmer. Next is processors, which is companies, seed processing company or any manufacturing company, food manufacturing companies. Then comes distribution, distributors, retailers, and consumers. So this is how the flow of the product happens now. And with help of blockchain or any technology involved, for example, uh, if you focus only on traceability, so traceability, please make note, traceability also can be done without blockchain, which is with help of IoT devices, Internet of Things devices. For example, RFID tags, GI tags, etc. So these are all IoT enabled traceability solutions as well. So digital flows, you can see here number of different types of tags, QR codes, barcodes, and IoT sensors, uh, as explained in number 4. So this is how in blockchain the data is retrieved or data is collected, not retrieved, data is collected here with help of this codes, barcodes or QR codes or any IoT sensors, and it is stored on the blockchain. As a second layer, you can see the digital flow of information along with the physical flow, and this is how the information is collected uh, in this whole ecosystem or this new supply chain. As you can see, the when one activity is processed, it is done, it is added as a block, as a separate block on the blockchain, and the number of blocks gets increased further as the product moves further. So I hope it's a bit clear. Well, why we need traceability and transparency again in this food supply chain? So this is something, few points are repeating, I guess. So again, food recalls, as said, it's a need of the hour, and food safety, food frauds, for example, as explained in fish supply chain, it's illegal, unreported, and undocumented fishing happening all around the world, and they are not documented well, and they are sold as different species and with the name under name of different product, different species. And for example, as said, the most in demand species are sold, uh, the most in demand species are mixed with other products, other species, to be taking more monetary gains. So that is part of food frauds, counterfeits, and financial losses due to it, as explained. So also, uh, transparency and traceability enables faster removal of affected products from the marketplace. Again, it's similar to food recalls, as the due to the efficiency increase in the whole system, it's really possible now to get back to the source of the product. So instead of declining or discarding the whole batch, we can particularly go for the particular source. For example, I would say if I'm importing as a retailer in UK tomatoes from Spain, and I found within after 2 3 days, I found customers complaining that they had health issues. They got stomach aches, they got diarrhea or something, and then immediately I contact my previous node in the supply chain, right, which is my distributor, and then again he contacts to his previous supply chain node, and this is how it takes a long time. But if we have blockchain enabled in this, so I immediately uh, just scan the QR code on the product and immediately can able to trace back the source and the actual farmer of the supply chain, and the responsible person can directly contact the farmer, rather than discarding the whole batch of tomatoes coming from Spain. I would particularly go to that farmer's batch coming from Madrid, for example. So this is how uh, the financial losses can be stopped as well, and the speed and efficiency in food recalls is obtained with blockchain. Uh, as said, foodborne illnesses due to this all incidences are can be avoided using blockchain. Sustainable procurement, yes. So um, there's so many things involved in when we are having food on our table. So there are plenty of activities or plenty of hands are um, the food comes with, like the different hands are touched to that food till it comes to our table. So there are so many unsustainable practices like modern slavery are happening. For example, it is well um, identified recently that in fishing industry. So I'm more talking on fishing because my expertise or my research is on fish now. So fish supply chain and transparency using with blockchain. So that's the reason I'm more relevant, giving more examples of fish, so please don't mind. Yes, so modern slavery, which is uh, paying, like, still underpaid workers are hired. They have no good um, uh, equipments to catch the fish. They have no good uh, places to live. They are working under very unsustainable living, um, uh, uh, their experiences. So that involves modern slavery. So these all practices also, as we have all the data coming from the first point into the blockchain. So even this data can be captured in the blockchain, whether this food was sustainably uh, caught, as for example, fish was sustainably caught and processed sustainably, and then all the processes were in uh, were fair. So this is how blockchain again helps in traceability and bringing more trust and transparency in this whole system. Well, this I have, yes, I have a snippet of showing. This is recent. You can see the date is June 4, 2021. Almost 80 tons of tuna were seized in Belgian fraud operations. So what happened here is the 25 tons of tuna coming from Southeast Asia were uh, were sold with carbon monoxide treatment. So this this treatment is for keeping them fresh or keeping them red for a long time. So this is very recent example, as I was talking. So these are all food frauds happening around, and still there is a great need of transparency uh, and this trust factor in the whole supply chain, along with the traceability. So traceability helps. What is traceability? Is it is helping us to know the activities which are normally invisible to us, right? So whatever the business operations happening around, so they are invisible. So what traceability helps us, especially blockchain enabled traceability. So blockchain is like an it's like very transparent house, you can say, a glass house. So you can see everything what's happening inside the house. So this is what this level of transparency and uh, traceability blockchain enables in the supply chain. So traceability is something knowing about all the activities and invisible stuff happening in the background. Well, yes, it is all inclusive tracking of environmental, economic, health, and social consequences of different production processes in agriculture and food, you can say. Yes, again, as an example I gave, farmers can know what prices their product is getting as it is moving further in the supply chain towards the end consumer, and especially if it is exported. If their product, if any farmers product is exported, then they lose exponential amount of money, because it is sold in 200, 300 times of the production cost, sorry, the first point sale cost, what the farmer is selling to the um, intermediaries in between. So actual true cost of food uh, can be known with traceability, and which also helps as an end consumer to get more transparency in the system or know the system. And also, due to traceability and this all system happening, the overall handling costs or all the different small costs involved in the system are reduced significantly, because um, profits and margins, that like demand and supply ratio works. Uh, so according to that, the profits and margin thing happening will be managed accordingly. So no node in the supply chain is charging more than he or she it is expected to take from that whole process. So this brings reduced cost as well for further products, and as an end customer we also can buy that product for less price due to this reduced cost. It also, so traceability also identified out of that product. Yes. So again, traceability is involved. It involves IoT devices, and of course, it's blockchain-enabled traceability. So within few seconds, you can get all the information on out-of-date products, or which are going to west or getting off shelf. Also, mismanaging the inventory levels is can be solved using traceability, and the overall supply chain efficiency. So, especially supply chain, you guys might be knowing that how important supply chain is, especially in this COVID thing. So when the coronavirus entered in the world, or when the restrictions on lockdowns um, came into existence, the only thing we were getting our food was the supply chain and the efficiency. Although it got very new things to learn from this all uh, pandemic, but still we were able to eat or bring our food to our table was supply chain efficiencies were the reason. And still being of traditional way, if it would have been enabled with latest technologies, so they would have been more efficient, I would say, in during this pandemic also. But uh, the importance of whole ecosystem or whole supply chains uh, is shown by this pandemic to us. It's really uh, important factor in all the businesses or running the whole world systematically or as it should be. So supply chain plays a big role, especially food supply chain, which is the basic need of everyone. Last one is yeah, it removes the hidden cost as said, and most of the system still is paper based. And if if the if any product is exported, uh, so we need to have a bill of lading for that. So even that is manual at the moment. So with help of smart contracts, and with help of efficient enabled blockchain, so all the paperwork can be reduced to all digitized work, reducing all the manual work, bringing more uh, bringing more transparency again, and bringing that chances of manually manipulating the system or the whatever fraudulent activities involved again. So this was something about traceability, and next is transparency. Again, it's all over interconnected, transparency and traceability in terms of blockchain. So it is um, both can be seen at many places going hand in hand when we speak about transparency and traceability in blockchain context. So as said, viability of small farmers to promote the product sustainably with help of uh, eliminated intermediaries is quite really good thing that blockchain promises here, or the transparency of blockchain enabled supply chains can promise here. As the number of intermediaries are reduced or can be reduced from the system, that again reduces the end product cost, giving more profit margin for the farmers, which is also need of the hour for our farming industry or our small landholding farmers. They are really struggling to gain that uh, profits. So they are very working on low profit margins themselves, even though they are the one who works whole that um, they nurtures and they cultivate everything. Even though they does majority of the operation activities of food cultivation, so they are getting least paid in this whole supply chain, which is not a good thing. Yes, transparency again brings more data integrity. So data integrity, what is meant by data integrity? So integrity is again authenticity of the data, or a data that we can rely on. So that is enabled or promised by blockchain again. throughout the agri-food supply chain. Um, well, this is all about transparency, giving more. We discussed about visibility, information flow, recall, and effective management of all the food systems. Yes, so these are again few blockchain benefits overview as in the flow in this form of diagram. So data reliability for risk management. So these are through my research in initial literature review I found few good blockchain benefits, and I tried to uh, classify them in four major uh, types. So this is risk and recall management benefits, which involves data reliability for risk management, improved recall cycle in food crisis, as said, decreased in transaction cost and recall management cost, as we discussed earlier. Market and consumer benefits. So here includes overall consumer satisfaction. So as said, as an end consumer, uh, they are getting all the information they need, the ingredient, the sources of food, the authenticity of the certifications involved, whether it is a fair chain trade product or they have trademarks, they have rainforest trademarks, rainforest allocation, what's rainforest trademark, yeah, it is something, it is a it is a certifications by given by Red Forest Association for a majority of products coming from that area of the world. Farm to fork visibility, again, yeah, I said visibility is the major role in any traceability or transparent supply chain. Informed choices for consumers, of course, they if they are getting more information and they have more power now to decide whether which product to buy. If they can choose, they have a choice to choose the product over transparent supply chain product or non-transparent supply chain product. So even this is making a more competitive uh, uh, environment for all the businesses in this domain now. So maximum viability in the market, yeah, that's another good point. Efficient demand supply chain management. So as said, demand supply chain, this is how the businesses work, right? So uh, efficiency in supply chain, overall supply chain also uh, automatically brings demand supply chain management to another efficient level due to known sources, due to visibility again, you know all the partners and you know the system. So this makes more efficient supply chains. Digitization. So I said Internet of Things. Internet of Things have, if integrated with blockchain, so they have another level of impact in this whole new technology developments happening around the world. So Internet of Things is basically used for uh, catching the data, or you can say that that first input to last input of data from farm to fork. All the data inputs can be automated way or manually with manually entering, but with authentified or certified checkers. So that can be done for with help of sensors, IoT sensors. Again, if we talk about advancement in agriculture, in precision agriculture, so IoTs, uh, they are used as very small, of very tiny size. They are put in soil, and they can tell you about the uh, water level, micronutrient level, fertilizer levels. So this all IoT sensors are quite doing well in bringing more efficiency in agriculture and food domain. So if integrated with blockchain again, so all the data captured with IoT and then um, uh, sent to over blockchain. So this is another it's very promising future for agriculture and food. Smart contracts, it's another good digital benefit, as said, which are pre-coded, and they only get successfully transaction. Sorry, they only get successfully the contract is approved only if the conditions are met, which are business conditions or any ethical conditions, you can say. It can be anything, any condition among the two businesses as per their uh, business relations or MOUs or anything happen. And well, yes, I spoke a lot about uh, benefits of blockchain, but as said, again, blockchain is still in nascent stage. It really needs. It's like a baby now. It's growing day by day, and once it's getting further, and more research is happening on it, and the use cases are um, in the real world scenario. More and more use cases are out, so it will be definitely having a good impact. But still, at the moment, they have blockchain has uh, few challenges, which is scalability. So, what is scalability? Scalability is expansion of the blockchain. So, the number of transactions happening per second or per minute. So that is the area need to be worked on at the moment. Many good companies, or there are so many startups at the moment, especially in Europe and US, who are working well on blockchain traceability, especially in food. So they are also working on tackling these scalability issues. Second is absence of regulation. So they have regulatory challenges. As said, as discussed, this have no this system. I gave an example of Bitcoin. You might be remembering. So in terms of Bitcoin, as there is no regulation, no government in the world is has control over Bitcoin. So that's the reason why it falls and raises very in that volatility. So it's really volatile uh, due to absence of regulations. So there are many governments who are themselves taking interest in getting blockchain on official regulatory terms, and that can be used, as it is highly promising technology. So whichever governments previously were denying blockchain, they have started accepting. There are many governments and big institutions who have started accepting bitcoins and started accepting this technology already. uh, Third one is interoperability and standardization. So interoperations, uh, they are between two different supply chains or two businesses working together in that ecosystem. So in many instances, it has been observed that um, many two businesses, they don't come on the same page on any particular challenge or issues, especially in blockchain and sharing the data. So if we are talking about bringing trust and transparency, so maximum visibility and maximum uh, sharing of data is expected in this. But many businesses find it not good for their business development and not good for their business ethics. So interoperations or interoperability is a quite major challenge in blockchain implementation today. Garbage in, garbage out. Again, yeah. So blockchain is again a database, as said. So it is decentralized database, which is immutable in nature. But still, it has no control over the input data. So whatever we put there stays there, right? So whatever, if the garbage in, garbage out principle is, if you put bad data or wrong data in it, that stays there, and that is carried forward uh, as it is. So the first input of data, the first point of data capturing is quite important and big challenge at the moment in implementation, which is also not in majority of retailers or big companies like IBM Food Trust is working really well. They are the pioneer in all the blockchain developments happening around the world. They have tied up with different small enterprises work on blockchain blockchain systems, and especially in bringing more transparency and trust in supply chains. So they take care of that. The data is authentic and trustworthy, but at bringing it to a basic level implementation, so this still remains a big challenge, especially in countries like India. So yes, implementation, like there are cost, majority of cost involved. The first implementation cost for replacing the current system with the blockchain or its integration with the current, for example, ERP system, enterprise resource planning, or SaaS, other SaaS systems, software as service systems. So the implementation and integration of these two different systems is also quite challenging. Yeah, that's bring to the end of my uh, lecture. Thanks a lot for your attention, and I'm ready for questions. I'll just grab
Dear participants, please ask your queries or raise your hands. I will allow the audio.
no questions. Was it too good or too bad?
Hello. Yeah,
Yeah.
can you hear me?
Yeah, yeah.
No, it was good. It was
You're
giving
not
a
audible.
basic overview.
Sorry, you're not audible. Can you please?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Can
Uh,
you hear me now?
yeah, it's better.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah, it's better than
Uh,
before. Yeah.
so you took the example of agri-food supply chain, and among the challenges, I mean, what about the agreement between the different stakeholders is one of the questions.
Mhm.
And who should be the initiator,
Uh,
manufacturer should be the initiator, and how implemented? Is it a software kind of a thing which has to be shared by all the stakeholders, or what is it?
well, yes. As I mean, in terms of blockchain, this creates a whole different ecosystem. In terms of challenges, as I mentioned, it needs to be integrated with the current systems in terms of software systems, of course. So it needs to be integrated with the current systems, and whatever the current system, all the stakeholders uh, have. So for integrating blockchain, they need to come on new version of all the system, which may be involving smart contracts, as mentioned, which will be covering all the contracts or uh, uh, the question you asked. The Sorry, was it contracts between the stakeholders you said, or you use different term? Nitin, hello. So yes, it is among two different businesses.
Can you hear
Um,
me?
oh, now I can hear you. Yeah. Was it? Sorry, can you hear me now?
For example, if you take the agri-food supply chain, right from the farmer to the green every with the technology, right from RFAGs,
Sorry.
and
So,
the initiator.
sorry, Nitin. I think you're not really.
Can you hear me?
Can you please write the question in the comment? I think it's there's a network issue there. I can't really hear you. Sorry for that.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me?
Yes, when you say this, we can really clearly hear you. But when you ask
Okay.
the question, it trembles. Okay, can you try? Yeah.
Yeah, I will try because it's going to take long time for me to type it. So if you are able to hear, I will continue. I was talking about the food supply chain. Uh, it appears to be a very difficult task. First of all, to get all the stakeholders from the farmers to the traders to get into an agreement. Plus, providing the like RFIDs, get from the farmer, you know, and then a integration of all this and develop a solution. So, what is your experience? I mean, you said you were working on some pilot project.
Yeah.
For example, if we take organic, see now is there for from the farm level, even for the final manufacturer, but that is adequate. Even the countries where those products are exported, complying with the regulation, is there any kind of certification? This additional traceability element, which definitely is going to help. Hello, can you hear me?
Sorry, I'm really struggling to hear your question very clearly. But yes, you asked about my pilot.
It's okay. I will try to.
Oh, I'll try to
Yeah,
answer
your pilot.
whatever. Yeah, I'll try to answer whatever I got from your question. So, um,
Okay.
yeah, well, you spoke about my pilot study. So, when I was trying to figure out the topic for my research, and so that was the reason I conducted this pilot study. And I mainly observed that farmers, in spite of struggling, I mean, uh, lot majority of their time in growing a crop and nurturing it and then bringing it to market as well. And then comes the part of intermediaries who even didn't speak with them well. And the practices I observed that were so unsustainable. And farmer has no choice of taking or selling that product at the moment with the uh, offered price, because they don't have any option. They can't take back their product and put it to feed to their farmer of food feed to their animals. So that's the main problem where uh, these all guys intermediaries take advantage of that situation. And that was my you know kind of motivation to find a solution with help of technology over this. So um, this was the reason I chose blockchain, because it is something this bringing more transparency along with the traceability, because still there is traceability offered by many companies where the data is still centrally saved. So still they have the chances of getting manipulated sorry manipulation in the data, and they still have that chances of um fraudulent activities. Just excuse me. I think, yeah. So yeah, this is what blockchain brings in terms of, and you also spoke about involving all the stakeholders, right? All the micro level stakeholders. So yes, definitely, it's a big challenge, especially if we talk about India. So it will take a time. It will take some time to get to that micro level. But at least I think Amazon is now working in Bangalore to provide blockchain enabled traceability solution for fish. Their fish products sold on Amazon food services. So they are now planning to get blockchain on their system. Within a year or something, they will implement that as a pilot study. So at major level or a city level, so I think that's possible, and many countries have really worked on that well. Many companies like IBM, I said, they have successful results. I hope I cleared majority of your answers. Nitin.
Sir, one question came from chat box by the Hemant Kumar. Why Bitcoin is banned in India?
Ah, that's really that's a government level question, I think so. Well, talking broadly, still Bitcoin, as said, they have no this system in challenges. I think just a second. So as said, it is still a challenge that they have no regulations over this technology. This is free, and as it is a public type of blockchain, this is uh, you might remember in our third or fourth slide we see types of blockchain, right? So public, permission, and private. Bitcoin is the public blockchain, which is open to everyone. Anyone can do mining for the bitcoins. Anyone can do any transactions. So also this also makes more prone to fraudulent activities again for many misuse of this technology as well. Just like internet have more of the benefits, and still they have more ill practices happening with help of internet. So these disadvantages of internet also exist along with the advantages. So this is a kind of to stay away till the whole technology is understood by government at a good level of acceptance. So they will be banning that from India, I think so. And this is the only thing I can discuss on this now. Next, please.
Next, Diksha ma'am.
Hello, sir. Diksha here.
Yeah, hi Diksha.
Great session. My first question is, you said blockchain can be done with IoT. Like blockchain works as a cloud for IoT, right? First question. And second,
Can be so.
yeah, without IoT, I cannot imagine like how does this work?
Yes, I mean, what is IoT? IoT is something, for example, now IoT is enhancing the efficiency, and without IoT, still there will be data capturing devices available which are not IoT based. Can you get it? So non-IoT based devices are also available. So firstly, what as an example, I can say if a milk van, right? If a milk van is traveling from milk processing unit to the end retailer. So with help of IoT, you can trace that all the route of the van till the retailer. You can trace the temperature levels, and you can tally that with the expected, or you can say officially expected good level of whatever decided temperature levels, if those were maintained or not during that whole transport of that milk, right? So how this is possible? IoT devices uh, uh, are put or fixed on the vehicle, and that sends the information, or that sends the signals of every fixed time. For example, if for every 15 minutes, if they have decided to take temperature readings for every 15 minutes, so all every 15 minutes after that, IoT devices in that van sends that information to the blockchain, which is again permanently settled there, right? But if it's not IoT, this is still now in India. It's not IoT which is still maintaining all this ecosystem. IoT is not wholly or um, broadly accepted at the moment. But still, we have our milk coming at our home. We have that milk bags coming of Amul or RA or anything, whatever it is. The system is still in place. So this system is still working without IoTs. This is the way blockchain also can work. So without IoT as well, there are data capturing devices. But when integrated with IoT, so that's a great uh, duo together, you can say. They work Just like when we have some favorite cricketer duo like Sachin and Sehwag, if they back together, so everyone
Right.
watches, everyone enjoys watching. This is how that works. But still, Sehwag is different and Sachin is different, right?
Yeah. So can you please give me an example, like without any IoT device, how it can work?
As an example, I won't be any from India. I don't have any example at the moment, but I can share
Okay.
you an email. Definitely something on this.
Yes, sir, sure.
Fine.
Thank you, sir. Great session. Thank you.
Any doubts?
Nitin sir?
This session is recorded, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Nitin sir? Nitin Takkari sir?
Yeah, can you hear me? Hello,
Hello.
hello.
I think you got an issue
Can you
with
hear me?
mm, not really.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Yes. Yes, we can hear
Hello.
you. Yes, we can hear you. Sorry. Yes, Nick.
Can you basic course for entrepreneurs to get information on this blockchain? Which are the
Sorry, say it
authentic
again.
sources? Can you suggest
Sorry,
some
say it again.
basic
Can you
course
please
for
write?
entrepreneurs? Yeah, I will write. I will
Okay.
write.
Oh yeah, please, please. It's better if you write it.
Next, anyone?
Any question?
Dr. Dhruv Jawar?
Hello. Hello.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Please.
Hello, sir. I want to ask that how this you have discussed that garbage in, garbage out issues.
Yeah.
So how this can help in waste management, because this waste management is a big issue, and in the food processing industries, like in citrus industries, and this has a now for that there are some technologies like extrusion processing for making the feed for the animals.
Mhm.
So how this blockchain can help in doing that? Hello.
Yeah. So it's against the same thing. Blockchain cannot solve problems of food waste in this, because
Okay.
blockchain is something. It is a database, right? So it is a database which is making your data authentic. So it is not something that is applicable in particular topics like food waste or circular economy. I think you should. I would suggest you to go through circular economy topics, or you can
Okay.
find too many good courses on circular economy uh, on TEDx, not TEDx, sorry, edX and Coursera, or LinkedIn Learning. If you have any, if you use LinkedIn, even LinkedIn Learning have a very good courses on circular economy. So what is circular economy? So it is zero waste management system. For example, uh, if any farmer is growing, for example, citrus, you said, so citrus is transported from that whole system, and again the uh, the waste of citrus, the food waste coming out of the whole supply chain, is again collected and is again transferred to the same farmer or different farmers, which is again used as a fertilizer or animal feed or whatever. So this is what a loop is forming here, right? So this loop is called circular economy.
Economy.
So this
Okay.
is whole economy, all this ecosystem is giving zero wastage out of this. So this again avoids landfills. So instead of throwing away the waste, um, which again gets more methane gas and greenhouse gases and all that environment effects. So this is what a good solution for maintaining or using this. So bringing blockchain to this is possible, but only for data, for only data involved or the data capturing or the data wherever data is. So we are just replacing the centralized system with decentralized system. We are bringing more transparency against the vagueness or non-transparent things, right? Is it
Okay.
okay?
Thank you, sir.
Sir, the question wrote in the right in the chat box by
Yeah,
Nitin
yeah,
sir.
yeah.
Can you suggest a course on the blockchain or for entrepreneurs? Which institute offers such courses?
Well, yes, on blockchain,
Yes, sir.
yeah, it is same like on Coursera, especially. You can find um, courses offered by uh, big universities, like top universities in the world, like Cambridge. Not Cambridge. Cambridge don't have anything on blockchain, but I think MIT has MIT or Stanford as well. I think they have something on blockchain and businesses integration, especially for entrepreneurs. So they, with help of Coursera, they have offered 6 week or 4 week courses like this on their, of course they are paid courses, but there is a lot of information available free online. So uh, don't worry about that. You can, if you want to have a course only, or if you are more interested, then yes, edX, Coursera, also on Udemy there are a couple of good blockchain courses. And yes, these are quite good authentic sources I can share.
Next, anyone?
Any question there? You can ask anything, any question random about food supply chain or agri. Uh, anyone agriculture engineer here? Basically, I am an agriculture engineer. So
Dhruva, sir.
big
Dhruva
shout out.
Medical, sir.
Good. We are going good. So anything relevant to that as well? If you have any question, you can ask. No?
One second, sir. Again, Diksha, ma'am.
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Uh,
Yeah.
as Nitin sir said, who is the initiator? So if I am applying this technology, so I will be the middle person for the farmers and to the end customers. Does that work like that?
Yes, it's really good question. So who are the initiators? So basically the companies, there are certain startups now who are working, who are providing blockchain as a solution. So you might have heard SaaS. So now it
Yeah.
is BaaS, blockchain as a solution. So these
Okay.
are softwares based on blockchains, and these companies find that all the supply chains key stakeholders together, they start to initiate. Of course, the small fish don't work, so all the big fish need to be contacted, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the retailers here, just like Big Bazaar, for example, in India, or who are big
Demands.
uh, DMart, can say. But in food, in terms of food, uh,
Hypercity.
Ninja
Yeah.
Cart is also getting Ninja Cart.
Mhm.
I think it's a startup. Um, yeah, in UK it is Tesco, Sainsbury's.
Mhm.
So these big retailers are already working on blockchain, and within a year or two, they might be implementing blockchain on their few products at least. So who initiates is your question. So this starts with the particular product, right? So whichever is the easiest product to start with, they can start with. But it should be, I think, it there's a high chance that retailer should be the initiator in this.
Okay. So if I'm an exporter, then that would be like how would work?
Yeah, it's
How it
it's
would
same. Exporter is
same.
again
Yeah,
just a partner in the supply chain.
I felt.
Yeah. So even the um, farmers can initiate. I've seen a few group of farmers, like I think Sayadri farms are doing well in blockchain implementation in Nashik. So you
Yeah.
can have that case study. So Sayadri farms is doing well. It's a really good case study to study if you're really curious about to know about blockchain. They are working. They have implemented it on onions and grapes. I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sir, is blockchain is better than cloud?
Yes, of course. So cloud, current cloud system is centralized, right? And due to it is centralized, they have, as you can see on screen, they have single point access failure, right? Due to the centralized model. Also, every now and then we hear the news that uh, there are so many hackers from China, Japan, wherever these countries, or hackers are everywhere in the world. I don't blame any particular country, but uh, these centralized systems are hacked by the hackers. So it's really challenging for uh, security providing company, which are uh, antivirus former company, antivirus producing companies, or many in that domain, in cyber security domain, whichever the companies are working. So it's always challenging for them to work with these attacks and phishings and everything. So definitely blockchain being immutable, not immutable here, but being decentralized and distributed, of course. So it of course is, I mean, it's celebrated as better than that. Yeah.
Anyone from participants? Then over to you, Chetan sir.
Hello, Dhruv sir. Was very beautiful presentation, sir, and your current dynamic examples made it very pretty, sir. I'm very happy to go through that all programs, sir. I'm very happy, as well as when you pronounce agricultural engineering, it sounds good, sir. Really, it sounds good because, sir, as a NAHEP here in a NAHEP, sir, I just frequency of hearing the particular word is very low. So it's all over good, sir. And your technology like blockchain technology is very much important, sir. Nowadays, it is a very security threat to, sir, every firm, sir, that data is not safe for them. So all our very good presentation and your effort and your friendly nature, sir. I'm very happy. And when I have from the NIHAP team, we are very happy to have you, sir. And hopefully we will meet again. Thank you, sir. Over
Thank you
to
so
you, sir.
much. Thank you so much. Thank you for the organizers, and especially Kamre sir who invited me for this, Umesh Kamre sir, and everyone from VN, MKV, and CASMB. So it's a great pleasure for this talk, and really a great time with you all today. And I hope it helped you to get at least a basic of blockchain, at least how, what is a block and what is a blockchain, and how it is useful in agri-food chain or agri-food domain. And with that said, thank you again. And yes, thank you again for all the questions, and was really happy to answer them all, and hope to see you all again in near future. Thanks a lot. Bye. Take care.
Okay, thank you, Aniket sir. There is one announcement for the participants. Please on your videos for a few seconds. All participants, please on your videos. Shweta Dode, Anushka Kunde, Hemant Rupnawar. Please on your videos for taking the screenshot. Okay, thank you one and all. Thank you very much, Aniket sir.
Thank you very much.
Okay.